we have a strong belief in the transformative power of practice-led research, of practice, art and design practice, and exploration, and drawing, where we believe in drawing. So it also falls to me to begin tonight by acknowledging country. And I acknowledge and celebrate the first Australians on whose traditional lands we come together tonight, whose cultures are among the oldest continuing cultures in history. We pay our respects to the elders, and because I'm on Ngario land in the snowy mountains in the high country tonight, I pay my respects to the elders of the Ngario or the Ngaragu, depending on where you come from, and other clans, of course. They're people past and present. So with that acknowledgement, we begin tonight. Welcome everyone again, and we're reading through the finalists, and I'm just looking for a visual cue here. But the finalists are in alphabetical order, and so I have the task of reading down and mangling some of your names for sure. So shoot me an email and just tell me off, no worries. So Chin-Jie Melodie Liu is a finalist. Duncan Currie, Elissa Jackson, Emily April O'Neill, Hen Miller, Izaak Bink, Janet Jeffs, Josh Ophel, Mark S. Cam, Shiara Astle, Siobhan O'Connor, Wendy Dawes, and Zoe Bilston. So we have a very lucky baker's dozen of 13 finalists. And I just lost everything for a minute, but it's back again. Okay. So it is my incredible pleasure. We've just been having a chat before you joined, all of us, to introduce Sarina Noordhuis-Fairfax. Sarina is an alumnus, a valued alumnus of our school. She was born in Sydney, but she is a Canberra-based curator, artist and writer. And since 2008, she has worked as a curator in Australian prints and drawings at the National Gallery of Australia, where she is fortunate to explore, and they are fortunate, she explores her love of ideas, process and materiality through exhibitions, which include in 2013 the exhibition Play, and in 2018-19 Performing Drawing. Sarina holds a Bachelor of Biomedical Science from the University of Technology, 1997. Now, I didn't know that because my PhD from UTS, Sarina, so that's very interesting. We'll be talking about that. She holds a Bachelor of Fine Arts from Painting from the National Art School. And she also has first class honours from our school, Print, Media and Drawing. She is a graduate of Practice-Led Research PhD in Visual Arts. That was in 2018. I remember her show very, very well. A wonderful show, her examination exhibition. So she is an alumnus of the ANU School of Art and Design through the Print, Media and Drawing workshop. So it's wonderful to see you here, Sarina, and thank you so much for doing this really, I guess what is a joyous task, but nevertheless a hard task. So thank you.
Thank you, Denise. I'd also like to pay my respects to the Ngunnawal and the Ngambri peoples on whose country I live and work, and on whose country, of course, the ANU School of Art and Design currently stands. And I'd like to thank Denise, and I'd like to thank Saskia and Irina for the invitation, for Alison Alder and her amazing team in Print, Media and Drawing for all the work they do with the students and trying to spread that love of drawing, you know, out into the world. And so I know, as Denise said, it is all a bit weird that we're not in the gallery together. Instead, you're in my study and we're in everyone's homes. But yes, it was a very lovely, it was a lovely surprise to be asked to be the guest judge. So, and yes, it was quite tricky. So I'd like to congratulate all the entrants for sharing their artwork, because that takes kind of some bravery on your part, of course, to offer those things up for someone else's eyes. And I'm sorry that we can't all be there in person to see everything and experience the scale and the materiality of everything. I was really excited when I looked through the 13 that made the shortlist, with the big range of materials that you've all used. Some traditional, there's pencil and pastel and charcoal, but some quite, experimental materials with phosphorescent paint, painting. The whole beautiful thing about drawing is it can be so many things. That's why it's just always been, that's why it was such a great workshop to come down from my life in Sydney to join print media and drawing, because it is so open to interpretation in terms of materials. You could do anything in there, and it's that's just the joy of it, really. So when I was looking through the 13 works, I was looking at the materials that everyone was using and everyone's ideas, and what kind of emerged was that sort of theme, which isn't surprising really under the circumstances, but the whole pandemic thing and everyone being at home is like, it's coming out in people's practices, which makes a lot of sense, because we're not robots, and life creeps into everything that we do. And so I think there was just that sort of social distancing, the sense of anxiety, that sort of sense of isolation that a lot of us have been experiencing, and disconnect that comes through in a lot of the works. But I think the artists are using this time to sort of explore those feelings, and that's kind of like one of the amazing things that drawing can do for all of us, is it offers us a way of like understanding the world, like a really powerful tool. So I do think that drawing is offering like a kind of amazing language for coping with the world at the moment. And I know you're all experiencing a really different way of learning to the way that, I was lucky enough to, which was in person, and hopefully one day we'll all get back to that and we'll all be together again, and that'll be great. Yeah. So, so I know I'm quite biased because I'm a drawing curator and I draw and stuff, but it's, again, like, as you all know, I'm preaching to the converted that drawing is like such a amazing thing. And no matter what other kind of medium you might work in, like so many people's ideas begin in drawing, and it can just take you anywhere. So yes, that whole theme I think was really interesting. That was in a lot of the works about, how to connect things about anxiety, processing those ideas and emotions. And so with this in mind, I chose to award the 2020 School of Art and Design Drawing Prize to an artist who appears to have been using drawing as a way of like looking deeper into the world that we're currently living in. I don't believe so much in the new normal. I think that's like a very weird thing, but I think it's really making us look again at our own lives and our place in it. So I'd like to congratulate Duncan Currie on his very beautiful triptych of charcoal drawings called The Cave. I have a little thing here to say that he's a first year student in the Bachelor of Design, and his artist statement notes that each drawing was no larger than a postcard, and they tell the story of a journey into the unknown depths of the earth. The work aims to create a sense of awe at the incredibly complex cave systems lying beneath us that we are unaware of as we walk on the surface. So for me, this series offered a moment of intimacy, which is through its small scale and its meticulous detail. And I just think that was, something that we're kind of lacking. It's really nice to get close to something, I think, at the moment. It gives 3 glimpses into a sort of parallel world. And aesthetically, to me, there was something of the 19th century English romantic visionary artist, John Martin. So many of you might know his sort of really amazing mezzotints that also dealt with sort of cave systems, but he used them in a really melodramatic sort of a way. And I think Duncan instead has sort of offered us a very welcome respite from the kind of crazy madness of the world up on the surface. He's kind of created these worlds that are still really complicated and but they're old, you know, and it's deep time and it's deep country. And I just, yeah, I want to offer my congratulations to Duncan. I also like to congratulate all of the other entrants. It was actually a really difficult decision. And it was like, it was an honor. So I just want you all to keep well and to keep drawing. So thank you.
Yeah, what beautiful work. Amazing. That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And I can't wait to share that with my colleagues in design. That's also wonderful. It's so interesting. Thank you so much, Sarina. Yeah, I think, yeah, looking at that work, it's what you say about it is it really runs true in terms of, you know, that sense. I'm sitting in a cave now, and I realize that I didn't actually factor in the fact that the light falls. But anyway, here we are with lights on and shadows and whatever. But yeah, we are now being reminded that there is a People's Choice Award, and that's quite important, so everyone can get involved and have a look at what you may have chosen. And I think at the moment there's a screen that I can't quite see right now that's giving you information about that award, and also information that's happening in the chat that offers you a way to actually register an artist for that People's Choice Award. So congratulations to our winner. That's just so wonderful. It's so wonderful to see that work. So Duncan, I hope you're out there, and good on you. And I'm hanging out to see that work in reality, as you say, Sarina, the materiality of the work. I can't wait to see that work now. So that's always really good. And people are putting messages in the chat and asking Duncan if he'd like to say something.
Oh, good.
No pressure, Duncan. No pressure. Yep. Good for you.
Oh yeah, thank you so much to the judge and to the ANU School of Art and Design for choosing me. It's a great honor to be chosen as the winner, and I'm really glad that my work resonated with the people who are seeing it. And I wish that it could be there in the gallery so people could really experience the detail that I put into the work, because it's a really small work, but I managed to put a lot of detail in and show the really fine nature of nature and how that is created underground. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks so much, Duncan. Yeah, I think, you know, they're going to kill me for saying this, and I'm like, oh, maybe we could just have a little show sometime where we can really see these works. Everyone's back behind there going, oh, how, you know, but wouldn't that be really good? Anyway, let's see what we can do. But yeah, it would be really good to see all 13 works, and like you say, and really encounter them in reality. And I think, yeah, I mean, some of us formed a session for the ACUADS conference called Missing You Already. And that was about all of us being on screen all the time and not actually coming face to face with materials and face to face with things like, you know, the beautiful surface of your drawing, the extraordinary detail, you know, and the actual, the mark making on the paper. So I think a chance to have that up close would be a really good one. Okay, so all we've got to do now is make sure that the information is out for the People's Choice Award, because I actually think I jumped the gun and didn't see the thank you section in there. So all the little elves, Saskia and Irina, who have worked so hard to put all of this together. I know Waratah's out there in the audience, but the people in the gallery who have really got this in shape are out there, and they're sharing the details about the People's Choice Award as we speak. And I'd like to say thank you to Irina and Saskia for always coming through with these things, organising things with such grace and such patience with all of us as you try to work something out. Great, that's Irina, and here's Saskia. Yeah, and yeah, so thank you so very much. From all of the finalists here, I thank you, and for all of my colleagues. So thank you very much for enabling us to continue our wonderful tradition in the Drawing Prize. It matters. All right. We, unless anyone would like to add anything, there's things in the chat, but we will actually conclude. But what I must do is say to Sarina, it was such a brilliant idea to ask you. And it was so good. It was so good that you were so good to actually do it for us. So, you know, so generous with your time, because I know that's what we all, we're strapped for time. So we really appreciate your expertise and, you know, so much up your street. And so we're very, very lucky. So thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right. All right. So I'm going to just say good night, unless there's any questions that people have, in which case they can put something in the chat. And people have, and you've probably read some things, Duncan, saying it's wonderful work from the head of Print Media and Drawing, Alison Alder. Yeah, and congratulating Sarina on a terrific decision. That's really great. All right. Well, good night, everyone. Have a great evening. And what a beautiful way to nearly end the day for some of us. But what a beautiful way to begin your evening. And congratulations again, Duncan. And yeah, can't wait to see that work. No pressure.